This is KCTV English News. I'm Nick Brontes. The Provincial Council has passed a proposal to change the method of selecting the island's mayors to direct elections. During a regular session Wednesday, 31 of the 41 local lawmakers present voted in favor of amending the Jeju special law in order to institute direct mayoral elections. 9 were opposed and 1 abstained. The bill will be transferred to the National Assembly for a final decision. The bill's fate remains unclear. Opponents argue that direct mayoral elections will not work because the island's mayors would still not be considered legal entities. Some are demanding instead that the island's cities be given back their autonomy. Municipal administrations now fall under the provincial government. The Provincial Council has adopted a resolution calling for the total suspension of all basic planning for the island's second airport. During the Council's second regular session on Wednesday, 23 of the 39 members present voted in favor of the resolution, demanding that the conflicts regarding the second airport be resolved. Just before the vote, some lawmakers demanded that the resolution be discussed again. They argued that the Democratic Party and the Land Ministry had already agreed to reactivate the review committee on the issue. That argument led to a 30-minute suspension of the session. Jeju District Court Chief Judge Lee Chang-han has become the 58th chair of the Jeju Election Commission. Members of the commission elected Lee to the position during a recent full meeting. His election comes ahead of the national union elections taking place in March. Lee has vowed to manage those elections with a high level of integrity and remove money from the process by severely cracking down on bribery and other election violations. The provincial government held a job fair for young adults Wednesday afternoon at the Halla University Convention Hall. Some 200 job seekers and 40 local companies took part in the fair. 21 people were hired. Provincial officials say they aim to get another 80 people hired through a fair in March that will focus on jobs related to tourism and the hosting of large gatherings. As part of efforts to boost job creation, the local administration plans to offer companies financial aid of up to 20 million won when they hire up to 3 new employees. The dozens of active women divers on the Hado Haenyeo Choir have produced an album. Songwriter Bang Seung-chul wrote all 7 songs on the new production. The title track is Until We Reach Baekdu, a song that wishfully promotes a reunited Korea. The Hado Haenyeo Choir comprises 25 women who are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. The choir has been performing since 2013. The Supreme Court upheld a compensation order in October against 2 Japanese companies over forced labor during Japan's 1910 to 1945 colonial rule of the Korean peninsula. A large group of plaintiffs in Jeju is now suing the Japanese government over the forced labor. Joseph Kim reports.
Seogwipo-born Lee Hwa-chul's father is one of the wartime labor victims. His father was forced into labor in a coal mine in Hokkaido during World War II. He endured the harsh forced labor, longing for his home and family. After Korea's liberation, he returned home, but without any pay for the labor.
진정으로 정말 반성하고 또 사과하고 그리고 보상도 해야 그 역사가 이제 좀 어떻게 좀 웬만하게 우리 국민들 마음에서 그 짐을 내려놓게 해야 양국 간의 그 문제, 국제 문제도 좋아지지 않겠느냐.
His son, Mr. Lee Hwa-chul, is preparing for a class action lawsuit for damages against the Japanese government with the help of a civic group. The Supreme Court upheld a compensation order last year against 2 Japanese companies, Nippon Steel and Sumitomo Metal Corporation and Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Limited, over forced labor during Japan's 1910 to 1945 colonial rule of the Korean peninsula. The court's ruling encourages him to join the group suit even though evidence has been lost over time. A civic group has sought victims or their families who want to participate in the class action suit since the end of last year. About 2,000 islanders have joined the legal action.
할아버지가 어렸을 때 항상 뭐 이제 밥 먹다가도 흘리면 자기가 일본 그때 했을 때 얼마나 고생했느냐, 뭐 밥도 못 먹고 노도 일만 했다고 막 그런 얘기를 너무 많이 했었습니다. 한이라도 좀 풀어드릴까 그런 기회가 되지 않을까 그런 생각으로 해서 이렇게 오게 됐습니다.
Japan stationed its troops in Jeju and conscripted Jeju residents into forced labor to build military facilities, including air bases in the later stages of the Pacific War, right before Japan surrendered. But many of the surviving victims who can testify about the forced labor are still reluctant to participate in the lawsuit.
군사적 요충지였기 때문에 어떤 그런 것에 수도 없는 주민들이 거의 대부분이 다 동원을 되셨어요. 그리고 그때 당시 심한 공출을 당하시고 어떤 공출을 되지 못하시는 분들은 거의 다 노역으로 여자건 남자건 끌려가셨는데 그러한 증거들이 많이 없어요.
The island suffered most by Japanese imperialism among the nation's cities. Remnants of Japanese imperialism in Jeju still remind victims of the painful labor. Now, it's time for the government to help and support the suit. Governmental efforts should be made to survey the number of victims of wartime labor and what really happened on the island decades ago. Joseph Kim, KCTV.
Enjoy an explosive experience at Jeju's famous Fire Festival, a perfect blend of old and new. Skies will be clouding over later on Friday. For the details, here's your forecast. The low in Jeju City will be 5 and the high later on 12 degrees. In Seogwipo, temperatures will fall between 7 and 15. In Seongsan, the low before lunch will be 5 and the high later on 13 degrees. Across the island in Gwosan, temperatures will range from 6 to 12. And the morning low up on the mountain at Songpanak will be 0. The afternoon high, 7 degrees. Taking a look at the marine forecast, winds will be out of the northwest and north at 7 to 12 meters per second, and seas will be between 1 and 2 meters. And here's what's in store for us over the next few days. And that brings us to the end of today's newscast. And after more than 10 years sitting in this seat, today is my last day as anchor of KCTV English News. It has been a great privilege to provide you with a daily overview of the island's news and to work with my outstanding colleagues here at the station. I wish everyone the very best. 시청자 여러분, 고맙습니다.